One of the most common measures of pure athletic performance is vertical jump, how high you can jump off the spot from a standing position. This shows your explosive potential, your ability to recruit fast twitch muscle fiber. However, whilst this is a very good test of athletic potential, it's not actually all that useful in the real world. How often in sports or in martial arts or in any other scenario do you need to just leap off of both feet at once? Almost always when we jump or when we kick, we're launching off of one foot, and normally with a run up to that position. So training your ability to produce force from one leg is probably more important than training your ability to produce force through both legs when it comes to jumping and athleticism. Not so true when it comes to lifting things, but if we're talking about athletics and agility, then single leg strength becomes really important. Even running involves exerting force off of alternating legs. Now, of course, you might think you can train both legs at the same time and that would be absolutely fine and it would transfer over to single leg strength. So just squatting in theory should make you jump higher from a single leg from a running start. And of course, this is true to an extent. However, it'll only get you so far, and training each leg independently has a whole bunch of potential advantages. I recently had my muscle mass scanned, got a readout of the weight and the distribution of muscle mass across my body. I found out that my left leg was significantly smaller and lighter than my right leg. That was the only imbalance I had, and I suspect that a lot of people are in the same boat. Bodybuilders know the importance of training specifically for symmetry. That's why they won't just do bench presses, they'll do dumbbell presses as well. Lots of unilateral, meaning one-armed, and lots of bilateral, meaning both-armed movements at the same time to make sure that they look the same on either side. Otherwise, it's very easy for you to cheat and to help yourself on the weak side by using more of the strong side. So in a squat, you might push more through the right leg than the left leg without even realizing it. And training single leg strength will allow you to overcome that imbalance. That way, you know that both legs are as powerful, that'll improve your running speed, and it'll mean that you can jump from either leg, making you significantly quicker, significantly more agile in martial arts, in acrobatics, in parkour, everything. At the same time, of course, training single leg strength in this way will help you to balance and it'll help you to shift your center of gravity, which again is very important for agility and for all-round performance. But on top of all that, we also have something called the bilateral deficit to consider. The bilateral deficit basically tells us that the amount of force we can produce through a single leg should be greater than the amount of force we can produce through both legs, by which I mean that using a one-legged leg press, you should be able to produce more than 60% of your leg press with both legs. That's discounting things like balance, so this wouldn't work for squat, but where all other things are equal, you can exert more strength through a single leg than you can through both legs at the same time. And the reason for this probably has to do with neural drive. That is that when you exert all your force through a single leg, you can concentrate more effort onto those muscles, increase your muscle fiber recruitment, versus trying to distribute your effort through two legs. So by training, again, focusing on single legs at a time, we might be training our neural pathways in a slightly different way and tapping into extra strength and performance. So for that reason, it's also probably a good idea to make sure you're occasionally using unilateral exercises for your arms, for your pecs, etc. In general, you should be using all your body sometimes and just parts of your body sometimes. So again, there are benefits to isolation training. And finally, the other reason that I really like single leg training, and I think you should incorporate it into your routines, is that it makes it much easier to increase the challenge, particularly with bodyweight training. I've been training a lot from home lately, as anyone who follows me on Instagram knows, and it's quite difficult to train from home when you're focusing on legs because you can't get that same weight. Most people don't have a squat rack in their home. Most people don't have a barbell that they can load up with 200 kilograms. So how are you going to create that challenge at home? One way to do this is through plyometrics, explosive jumping and other moves like that. Another way is by controlling the weight using the kind of old-time strongmen techniques that I've talked about in the past. And another way is by using single leg movements such as the one-legged squat, such as various types of walk, and all these things are actually also really fun ways to train your legs, because for most people, training legs is a bit like eating your vegetables. It's the least exciting thing to do, and that's especially true when it comes to body weight. But by doing things on one leg, by being explosive, you can actually find that a leg workout can be quite fun. So I have shared a full single leg workout routine over at the Bioneer. The link for that, of course, will be in the description down below. But here are a few exercises that you can start using right away at home to start training your single leg strength as well. So the first and most obvious one is the single-legged squat or the pistol squat. The pistol squat, of course, means you've also got to keep your heel on the floor, and this is a great way of training your mobility, your flexibility as well, because it's quite tricky to do that if you don't have full range of motion. At the same time, you can of course add weight to make it more difficult by holding a kettlebell or by having a barbell on your shoulders, etc. The lunge, of course, is one of the best known single leg exercises and one that people commonly use. And you can also do lunge walk, so walking around the garden. And in fact, any kind of loaded carry, anything where you're carrying a really heavy weight and just walking with it, is great for your single leg strength, because of course you're going to be on a single leg at various points throughout that movement, and at the same time you're engaging your core and you're balancing. I did a whole video on loaded carries and why they're so good for you. A similar move to the lunge that I also really like is the side squat. And here you're basically holding the weight as normal, and then you're stepping out to one side and then plunging down on that one leg. And so basically it's kind of a cross between a squat and a lunge. That's a great way to build up to the pistol squat if you can't do it right away. And of course, again, you can add more weight if you want to increase the challenge. You've obviously got your calf raises, and single-legged calf raises are almost a requirement to make that move difficult enough. I've also talked in the past about calf jumps. I really like this exercise. It basically means that you keep your knees entirely straight and you launch yourself off of just your calves. So you're really engaging the calves and the feet in order to exert that power. And I'm going to be doing my video on ninja training very soon, and apparently some people think that ninjas might have used a similar technique in order to build up their leg strength. So of course you can do calf jumps from a single leg, and you can even make this another form of travel by doing calf jumps on one leg all the way down the garden. Another really good one you can do with no weight though is a squat walk. Basically you're staying really low to the ground as though you're squatting and then walking your way around the garden. And you can combine all these into a kind of circuit or a kind of mechanical drop set, and you can get a really intense workout on your legs wherever you are, using just your body weight by focusing on just a leg at a time. There are a ton more exercises, of course, that you can use, and I'd love you to share them down in the comments below, and I'll be addressing this topic in the future soon. I do have plans to make a video on jumping height in general, so I'll be discussing that more then. I hope you found this video useful and interesting, guys. If you did, then please leave a like, please share it around. Like I say, please comment down below. All that stuff really helps me out massively. Got lots more content on the way soon. I'm going to be doing a video on the life of Bruce Lee, one of my Learning from Legends videos, as well as Houdini. I'm going to be doing ninja training, like I said, and lots more ancient warrior training. I'm going to do a video on chi control and what that actually is in martial arts, whether it's real, whether it's not, etc. I'll be doing a video on personality and how that affects your focus as well as your physical performance. Lots more stuff in the pipeline for the new year, so if that all sounds good, then please stick around and I'll see you next time. Merry Christmas, and bye for now.